Shut up! God! Yeah! I'm not yelling! Okay, boomer.
Oh, hello, gentlemen.
What up? What up?
What's up, boomers?
Chilling.
What up, dog?
I'm just hanging out. I'm having a good day. We got some stuff to talk about tonight, boys. We have some speculating to do, I would say. I don't know if you guys saw
My favorite.
Did you guys see this?
Ooh.
Oh,
Rebellious.
yeah.
3PO put out a
Okay.
9-line apparel, so you know it's going to a good cause and stuff like that. Oh
Yeah,
god,
man.
it's so pretty. I can't wait to wash it. Then it just hugs me like a silken maiden. So excited. All right. Hello, chat. What's going on, everybody? I'm sorry if you hear the stuff going on in the background. I apologize. John Graber, what's going on? Woo woo. Good to see you. Bayou, the homie. This should be interesting.
Yeah, man.
I think
What's
it
up,
should-
everybody? What up?
Everybody's rolling in.
I'm hoping it's going to be interesting. So today I wanted to do some speculation because as if Star Wars fans did anything else other than speculate, something's going on at Lucasfilm right now. Big time. Now, I feel like there are two sides of the camp, as there are, as Star Wars fans do. This is what we do. We polarize things. Why not? I think it's starting to become like an American thing. This is what we do. We polarize. So there have been a few projects shelved, quieted, kind of left to stay, you know, it on the back shelf for a year, maybe. That's what they're saying. It's going to be a year. The question is, why are the projects that are being shelved this close to Disney Plus Day? Why is this being released? Why haven't we heard anything about KK? What is happening? What's going on right now? I just want to hear what you guys are thinking because I feel like there's so much strong evidence that's being spewed from both sides and they're completely contradictory. And I feel like both of them are right. I haven't been convinced yet that one side is right.
I mean, I think it's also a question of how much will they be willing to reveal on Disney Plus Day? Because think about that last reveal, that big panel. They had the wall filled with title after title after title. And what percentage of that have we all actually got confirmed? You know, some of the biggest ones where we even got teasers, like the Rogue Squadron movie. That had a full teaser going on with the filmmaker and everything.
Eddie Jenkins and the X-Wing
Yep.
and stuff.
Dude, she was hyped
for
about
that.
the new technology
Mhm.
and like shots in the cockpits that we've never seen before.
Yeah, man.
I was excited for that.
I was so excited for that.
So why that one? I heard that Matt, the writer, got COVID and he was going to be out for 6 weeks. And so they pushed it because she was going to be too deep into other projects. And so when she comes back, everything's going to be ready to go for her. But that just seems odd that in 2 months, things could have changed.
No, I don't think it's odd. I don't think it's odd at all. I think
Hiatus? At
no,
that? At the
I don't.
half?
I don't look, man. A large portion of this movie is going to be CG, right? It's all going to be green
Mostly.
screen, and mostly. So, unfortunately, this movie, and unfortunately, a little Indy, but we're not going to talk about Indy because Indy's a bit of a pain. So, this movie in particular, you're talking about a show that started with a lot of hype. Everybody was really excited, and then COVID happened, and studios shut down, and you don't have the bandwidth to work from home editing and working on these projects that are this massive. So a lot of these people were at home for 3 months. that puts them automatically 3 months behind schedule. Then any other faux pas on set sets you back even more. And these people have hard outs because they're contracted for a duration of time.
But the
And
writers
so-
can do their job from home regardless, right?
I mean, COVID messed a lot of things up. COVID put production behind as a whole, and Patty probably had a hard out because Wonder Woman 3 was on the slate. So if her hard out is there, she's got to go. She's got contractual obligations, and her contract when she started this probably had an out date written in it for Wonder Woman 3. So this is contractual stuff, and I think maybe putting it on the shelf and let the rest of the production catch up if they're behind, and then let her come back and finish.
Okay, so total agreement there. What? Why the other ones?
What other ones? Indy
Andor and Acolyte.
I heard Andor is already slated for 2022 fourth quarter release.
So that's what I thought was weird is that
I heard that
thought
today.
this was on, like slick track, good to go. And then I've also heard 6 or 7 people who you would consider prominent be like, no, it's being delayed. And I'm like, well, I haven't heard any official release from Disney yet that it's
How about
delayed.
we wait until Friday?
Yeah, I'm thinking we get a sizzle reel, man.
How about you
of
wait until
Andor.
Friday until they just tell us the slate for the next year before everybody starts cramming all
So
this stuff
close.
out of their cram holes with their clickbaity
Is that
YouTube
what you call
crap.
your mouth? You call your mouth a cram hole?
Yeah, put it in your cram hole.
No,
Step it in your
theirs.
cram hole,
It's
LaFleur.
theirs.
Right? Like,
all right, take it easy.
I think everybody needs to
We're
chill
only
the F
7
out.
minutes in.
I think everybody needs to chill. Not us. I'm saying all the clickbait guys out there that are like, "Oh my God, it's canceled. Another one of KK's project are canceled." Like, how about you take a beat, wait till Friday when they release the slate, and see if Andor got canceled. Now, Indy, they might have gone back to square one like they did Kenobi. They might not have been happy with what they were, was the end product, and they were like, "Sorry, we got to start over."
I wouldn't be surprised.
It
Indy-
happened with Kenobi.
Huge character. Exactly, because Kenobi is this huge main character, and if it's not right, I'm so glad they started over. I'm so happy that they did that.
Yes,
I'll
me too.
wait as long as it takes.
Yeah, me too.
To get a good series.
So for me, I feel like Indy, they might not have been happy with everything, so they might have gone back and tried to start over. Maybe re-edit. Maybe editing takes a long time. Maybe they went back to the cutting room. Maybe they didn't go back to square one, but editing still takes a while to get back to first cut form before you're even in final. So maybe they went back and started at the editing room again. But as far as KK's probably having some bad luck right now. I don't think these are any indication that her contract will not get renewed. Word on the street, from what I understand, is that that's already pretty much lock, stock, and barrel.
They should drop Andor on July 4th. I don't know what day that is, but
I was
Rebellion
hearing
and shit.
fourth quarter of 22 is what I read.
Yeah, we're definitely getting Andor. I don't think that's pushed back. We saw even just a while back now. We got to see some stuff from there already, didn't we? Wasn't that part of a prior sizzle reel?
Put it in your cram hole.
Oh.
Hey man, like I said, I think everybody needs to wait on their thought process as far as Andor's concerned. Now, Indy's going to be on the shelf. We'll see what they do with that, but that really doesn't worry about Star Wars people. So I put that on the shelf behind me, put it in the box, leave it there. I don't care until they figure it out. But Patty's show, I just think that's a contractual thing, and they just ran out of time with her, and that they're gonna
What about Acolyte?
I still think
I'm so hyped.
Acolyte.
That was the other one I wanted.
You see how it is?
Dark Side.
I think that shows will be okay because it's going to tie into it could tie into both Old Republic and High Republic. We really don't know. I hope that shows like the link between Darkseid not being there and then the start of them seeing.
But they haven't even announced the
Darkseid
production
shit.
date for that. They
Nothing.
haven't even announced the start of production date. So again, let's put that back in here in in the stuff that's not relevant until a little later.
It's
And
not
let's-
even relevant to me later.
I mean, Acolyte's going to be awesome if they do it.
It can move to
Is
the
it?
forefront now.
Well, I mean, they still have a bunch of shows to shoot before, before it's that show's turn.
Wow.
This is where the fun begins.
That's where they put it in the
Let's find out tomorrow. Let's find out Friday. How about that? How about we reconvene on Friday and then everybody can put their money where their mouth is?
Well, and what's going to happen? Are they going to release that? Hey, by the way, we have another 25 shows that are coming, guys. Get hyped.
No, I think
I
you
think
guys
we
are
will
gonna
get-
4 of them actually make it to principal photography.
Listen,
mean,
only 2 shows have been canceled or moved or whatever, right? Like,
You hate all the other ideas for the shows anyway, so why are your panties twisted?
All I'm saying is
You hate
don't-
the idea
don't-
of droids. You hate the idea of Lando. You hate the idea of most of these second tier shows. So why do you care?
Don't pull up and be like, we got 50 shows coming, guys. And then 4 of them actually make it to principal. I don't
The
actually
first 4.
understand. But we
haven't even got the first one yet. Like
You
you,
know
got
what
Bad Batch.
I hope they tell us
that
about
was an
movies.
extra. Bad Batch was a bonus. Visions was a
bunch of
bonus.
bullshit, Phil. That's what's going on.
No. You got Visions already. There was one promised.
I was so
Vision-
excited for that.
Visions is out and about, and you got some stuff you liked, and you were smiling, and there was some stuff you thumbs down. As long as you can thumbs down on YouTube, you thumbs downed it, and then now we're about to get Boba, which you guys are literally like on high train, fireworks, party time.
Bubba. Yeah.
And
for
then
sure.
as soon as that's over, I hear Bad Batch is next in March, leading to Kenobi in May. I mean, literally, the rest of your year is going to be stocked and stacked, and you're going to be jonesing for more by the time they're done. This is only the first 3 show rollout. Chill out.
3 shows. Did you see the
Visions,
screen behind
Boba,
that?
Kenobi, and you got a bonus as Bad Batch for 2 seasons. Like, why are you complaining? It's just beginning. Let them get through principal production on the first 5 shows, and then they'll give you the other 5 shows after 2023.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wrong.
We'll see.
I don't know.
See, this is what happened, man. This is what Disney Star Wars did to us. They rushed their films, and we got them back to back to back to back to back, and now we're all just expecting everything to be back to back to back to back. We got to get back in that realm of waiting.
fatigue does not exist. There's no such thing.
These guys
They
are
were
too
saying Star
impatient.
Wars fatigue.
Oh,
No such
fatigue is real if the content's trash. But the thing is, we were willing to
Suppose.
wait for good content. We were willing to wait for good content.
Right, when it was
Yeah.
just
I'm not
movies.
willing to wait for not good content. And
I
so
waited from 1983 to 1999 for a new Star Wars movie.
yeah. And then you waited,
Look,
you know.
what you got there? You got toys.
I got Mandalorian gummies, is what I got.
Okay, we got.
Oh, nice.
Visions.
I'm getting my candy out because you're telling tall tales, and this is what I do in the movies. So I might as well get my candy ready.
What tall
Just-
tales
Boba
are we telling?
candy?
You're hitting her
Yo,
in
and
webs.
for, Visions might not count, but I want it to count. Damn it!
Visions absolutely count.
What?
They put it on the
Some of those
slate on the
stories
marquee.
could. Some of those stories could be in.
Oh,
our
you mean like in
our
canon?
galaxy?
Okay.
So they really could.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
a
what's his
never
name
say
said
never
that,
kind of person.
The swordsmith one was a pilot. That's confirmed, isn't it?
I don't know if they've really linked any of them. If I were them, I wouldn't. I would not do that shit.
Oh, I'd
Did you
be
hear
all
the
over
guy who's stoked about Visions be like, I maybe just not, just
Hey,
They're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be canon stories anyway. So I don't want to bring any of them into canon. Leave them what they are.
this.
But
yeah,
they
Just
promised you visions. They promised you stories, X amount of stories from Japanese anime houses, and they delivered exactly what they promised to deliver.
They sure did.
Some of those were amazing that are spinning off into their own things.
and if this momentum can carry, bro,
And
some
they-
of this shit
What
could
is
be
this?
canon someday, bro. Telling you.
Sorry about that.
Who let this man press buttons?
seriously,
I'm
still
trying
still
to
a rookie.
find something. Well, no, I'm trying to find some. There's no way to pause TikTok. I was just trying to pull up.
You can be mean.
How do you?
He's on TikTok, and we're just trying to talk about
Anyway.
visions.
It's
No,
okay,
I
'cause-
hold on. Hold the fuck. Give me a second here.
You didn't have this ready?
Fade out.
Fade in.
Yo, oh my god, that was terrible.
Okay, here
What's
it is.
that?
Here it is.
You can be mean.
It's
Who says you can be mean?
I don't want to be fucking mean. I mean, the whole reason I did this was because I've got people in my community who love anime, and I'm trying to bridge that gap, and I want to try. You know what I mean? But
Well,
that was
this is-
fucking awful for me. Member berries.
Sorry for your loss. Thoughts and prayers.
And I remember you eating some of those words with
It
the
was
duel
so that
and
was
the Ninth Jedi and the Bride and the Elder and all of these wonderful stories that you were very excited about.
I'm not going to
remember you
scream
eating
from the
some of those
rooftops about it.
words.
You know.
No, but you ate your words because you were like, these are gonna suck. It's anime, boo. And it's like at the end of it, I believe you were it was pretty awesome. They gave
I'm
us
sorry.
exactly
Do you
what
remember a moment in my channel where I'm like, this is anime, it's gonna be stupid. I'm pretty sure I said I'm gonna go into this with an open mind and
clip
try
that.
to enjoy it.
I'm
And then I
pretty
waited
sure
until
you're-
1:00 in the morning and I watched a bunch of weird shit. And I'm like, you know what?
No, you
That was
watched
fucking
two.
awful.
You watched
He got 3
two.
minutes in and then said that.
You watched two that were awful.
3 episodes. And I was
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah, you don't like TOBY, so you don't like Toby. Okay, so 3 of them. You didn't like Bohemian Rhapsody, which
I said
sucked.
it was gonna be interesting.
This is like
Right.
the machete version of watching the movies. We just
Yeah.
need to
Two.
present. We just need to present visions to him in the proper order.
No.
to get
I
him
mean,
through it.
look, man,
We'll just start with Toby.
they started and gave us exactly what they told us they were going to give us. This is what the original dissenting opinion was. Now, they gave us Bad Batch, which was another fantastic show that everybody got to watch parties and have a good time, and it was a good show. So that's 2 out of the box that they promised us out of the gate that they're giving us. Boba's on deck. Kenobi's on deck after that. Ahsoka potentially on deck after that. Andor in the mix there somewhere. They're giving you 5 right out of the gate that are going to be fire.
Yeah.
And you're worried about the other stuff that hasn't even gotten into full pre-production.
Well, here's the thing, Obsession. You just said the stuff that they're gonna give us is fire.
It's fire. Who
I
is
said
not
it's
hyped?
gonna be shit, and people are like, "How are you gonna say it's gonna be bad when you haven't even seen it yet? How do you know it's gonna be fire when you haven't even seen it yet?"
Simple.
Ahsoka's going to be good.
I believe in Dave Filoni. That's how. And we've been through this many times.
Mhm.
I hold my faith in the person that is in charge of executive story. End of story.
And who's to say
Oh,
that
she
while
said
they
it
had
backwards.
Rosario on set, that they didn't already shoot something for Ahsoka? It's like, you're
Oh, I'm
here.
sure they did. They probably filmed stuff for
Perfect.
Ahsoka when she was on the sound with Mando.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
agree.
The point being is that they're literally living up to the promise from a year ago. And nobody's happy. Nobody's happy. They're giving you exactly what they promised you, and nobody's happy.
Hawks, can I ask you something? I don't want to put you on
Yeah.
the spot. When did you
No.
jump into Star Wars?
Prequels. Phantom Menace was when I really grew up. I saw the OG on cable, essentially. You know what I mean? Grew up through that, but
The
Prequel kid.
OT trilogy you saw on cable?
yeah, for the most part. And then if they did like a special edition, I'm sure I went to those in theaters, but I went to Phantom Menace 4 or 5 times the first weekend. So or week, because at that point I think movies were doing releases on like fucking Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday nights you could go to movies. So I'm in a small town. I lived downtown the weekend that movie came out. And that's where it all started. But yeah. Why do you ask?
I'm just curious. I need to get to know you more. I mean, we
Yeah,
talk a
no.
lot, but we got to get to know each other.
No, prequels really. I go back to watch some of the OT stuff, and it's hard to, the fight scenes are hard to watch sometimes. They
Yeah.
are. Just
The fight scenes in the prequels
in the
are hard to
OT.
watch. Oh, in the OT.
No, in the OT.
Oh, okay.
In the OT. It's just like where technology's at. They can do so much more now. That's why I can't outright say I hate any of it, I just can't.
Thanks, Arlena.
I
I'm not sure how to take that.
Like, not even the chat is starting to go too fast for me. And there's like good questions and stuff in here, and I just want to look at it. Cautiously optimistic. Didn't hype myself for the Bad Batch and loved every second. See, and I was the other way. I was super pumped on the Bad Batch, and then disappointed.
But now,
What got you
isn't it-
hyped for the Bad Batch? What got you hyped for it? Because to
It
me,
was a continuation of the Clone Wars for me.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
That last season of Clone Wars, that's what hyped me up for Bad Batch. And
Yeah.
I like Bad Batch. I think
Mhm.
overall it was solid.
I thought it was.
I wouldn't say it's my go-to Star Wars.
now,
I'd go back to Clone Wars over that.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Now, what's the I think that the disappointment in the Bad Batch for most people that were obsessively hyped for it was that it didn't live up to their expectations.
that's where I'm
going
at.
in.
Well,
And
the
I-
only thing I expect is a good story.
You don't feel you got that? You don't feel like you got that at all? You
Yeah.
don't feel like they didn't give you one single thing in the whole series that you were like right on?
It was pretty gnarly to see Tapioca City go down. That was some shiz.
See, those
My
My
last two
issue is I'm at the
episodes-
edge of my damn seat waiting for something to happen, like something real substantial to happen. And
Yeah.
these shows just are not giving it to me.
I was up at the edge of my seat at 12:30 in the morning, knowing I have to be at work at like 5 o'clock in the morning, staying up late to watch these on a live stream with 80 edits and Kat and everybody. Like, something needs to happen here. And like the best thing we got was like Tapioca City, and we got a little bit of pain, and we got
here's
some
what we got, man.
I think you're being, and I'm going to be honest, I think you're being a little narrow-minded. I think your scope is to here instead of what they're doing.
I'm only judging what.
yeah,
they gave me
I'm
at
just
the
ready
time.
for it to
I-
all
I think-
culminate.
I think you like most people in Star Wars are impatient. You don't want them to build a story in a long process. You want it here. You want it now,
Mhm.
instead of the way that Dave Filoni is designing it for you. So at the end of it, you can go, "Oh my God, it was perfect." Right? Like that's
Yeah.
what he's doing. And you guys still crap on it. It's amazing.
I gotta.
See,
I
I
have to
like
boot
the
through
slow
film.
build. That was like that first episode was. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have expectations for Bad Batch. I was like, oh, we're playing off of
Neither
Clone
did I.
Batch 99. I was like, okay. And that first episode hooked me. I was like, all right, this is sick. And then we got some build, but when it re-hooked me was when they started blending in the original trilogy music. And we started getting that real transition into the OT.
They
I was
did
like, I'm back.
all of those beautiful auditory things without creating the stories that I wanted.
Well,
And it's not even that I wanted. Okay, look, here's the deal. This is where I'm going to rebuttal back towards you, Obsession. You're like, well, you just don't understand that they're building stuff, and
no,
later
you're
it's
too
gonna
eager.
pay off.
You're too eager. You're impatient.
No.
They're building you a grand story.
I'm fine with that. I'm super good with
It
that.
better be grand as shit.
But,
Well, they get
But-
they get mad when the Martell sisters show up anywhere, number one. So
but if the only
that's not
thing
it.
that Star Wars ever was the first 3 movies, I would enjoy that. I wouldn't expect them to say, well, wait until you get the next 3 movies. And that was the same thing with the prequels. A lot of reason why people are mad about the prequels. They're like, I didn't like the prequels until I watched the Clone Wars, and then I understood. And I feel that way about the Bad Batch. You're telling me they have to be able to flesh this stuff out longer for it to be good. But I was happy with the first.
No, you expected your expectations made it so you could not enjoy it because it did not live up to what you think. And this is constant in Star Wars with fandom. You, as the fan, expect them to do what you want. And when they don't, you are not happy with it.
Yeah, just making a good cohesive story.
When
That's what I was
they
not
did
happy about.
put a good story together, showing you pieces of Star Wars that you never would have gotten to see without him, without this show. And that's the larger piece of the puzzle.
But I don't just blindly digest Star Wars and be like, oh, cool, that guy has a DL-44. Wow, Star Wars, and just eat it.
The fact that you're not looking forward enough to say, oh, cool, we're going to see how Rex gets put into this situation based on the Bad Batch.
Cool.
We're not going to see, you're not appreciating the fact that they're building to this stuff to show you how we got to where we're at in Rebels. This is not a one and done show where you're just getting this little piece. They're showing you the things that everybody asked for.
That doesn't mean
5
they
years
can't
ago.
make good self-contained stories within those episodes.
What
That's
were
I'm
you
saying.
not happy
That
with?
doesn't
What
mean
made
because you're
what
building
made
a
you
bigger
so
universe. You
unhappy?
can put your shit into small chapters.
I said this when they first.
I'm trying to get a fucking point out.
I said this shit when they first announced that there was going to be a massive time jump into the sequel era. I was like, watch, they're going to do the same thing they've always done. There's like a 20-year gap. They'll make the movies. Now they're going to fill it all in. They did the same shit in reverse with the prequels. Those movies came out not greatly received by everybody. They filled it all in. Now the prequels have gained fandom. The same thing's going to happen with the sequels.
Okay, but Hawks
and they're giving you what you want at the
story.
same
It
time.
was.
And they're giving you what you want at the same time. They're giving you all these OT trilogy stories, and they're all pulling from the EU. What more do you want? Go read the High Republic.
What I'm trying to tell you is that, yes, I get that. You can fill it in, but the original trilogy could have survived on itself without filling in other aspects of it. What I'm telling you is the Bad Batch, the reason it was unfulfilling to me is because
Say
it
that again?
wasn't
The
a
OT
good
could have
story by
survived on-
itself. It needs something else to fill it in. That's all I'm trying to say.
But say that again. The OT could have survived on.
The OT could survive on itself as a good story.
But not everybody liked that either, man.
Yeah, not
When those
everybody.
first came out,
I'm not
it's
everybody.
been the
I'm
same
telling you
thing.
how I feel
I'm
about
just trying to
Bad
say it's
Batch.
been the
And you're
same
saying,
thing.
look, everything gets fleshed out and it's so much better when
It's
you go
okay.
back and you have this other
It's
content.
better for the people who don't like it now.
Am I
is
just
what I'm
like
saying?
fucking screaming at a wall right now?
No, what I'm saying
you
is-
can have that opinion because at the end of the day, you're going to eat your words anyway. So I'm not worried about it now.
I'm on that boat.
Because-
I feel like
because
you will.
You're going to eat your words, man. It's
You
factual.
will learn to
Like,
love it,
What
or
about
you
all the
will love
people
it
that Could
eventually.
have come into Star Wars and loved Star Wars, but they watched the Bad Batch and they're like, this just feels like an incomplete story.
Right, because because those
It was.
people that came
There's
in,
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and they're like, well,
coming into anything out of context, number one, you could say the same thing about anything that you come in the middle or end of, right? Like I could say
What's
the same
the
thing.
easiest way to move away from George Lucas's treatments? 20 years into the future, you can do whatever you want, and now they still have that opportunity to honor George's stories, to tell what happened to Luke immediately after all of this. I think they're gonna do that, man. I think we're gonna get all of
No,
Luke.
Here's
I don't know
an
how the
example.
hell they're gonna do it, but they brought Shamook on for a reason. Like, that's news.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm not
I don't
worried.
know.
You can feel how you feel, but at the end of the day, just like at the end of this whole process, you're going to eat your words on everything connecting to the sequels, and it's going to make sense, and everybody's going to be happy with it, and that's going to be the end of it, and that's okay. You can have a dissenting opinion now, but later you're going to eat your words. It's the same way here. When the Bad Batch is done, and whether they tell us, show us how Wolf and Gregor, well, they already showed us Gregor, how Wolf gets attached to the three and they end up on that planet by themselves in a rebel walker, everybody's going to be happy. If they show us Ahsoka heading
Not
to
everybody.
Rada and Rex hinting to her on her own journey, leads right into Ahsoka. Like, this stuff is all connected, man. If you're taking it as a one and done, again, You're looking through
All I'm
a
trying to
little
say,
hole.
see, and you keep saying
Instead
that
of going
I'm
here.
looking through like a peephole in a freaking prison door, and you're wrong. What I'm doing is looking at this as in fact, you're as wrong as you could be. I'm looking at this through the larger scope. Okay. The big scope. Not everything should be tied to one finite storyline. This is here and this is there. What I'm trying to tell you is that you can't just bring out a show to Star Wars fans and say, you need to accept this as world building. And if it's
I'm not. I'm saying it was good, and I'm saying your perspective is wrong.
Quality content, just deal with it because it's world building.
It was quality content. Again, I think you're
It
wrong.
was. That's what I'm trying.
Do you
to
think
tell
that they
How
expected that, dude?
Exactly.
You think
That's
that
what
they
my
came
whole
out with that
thing is.
shit. Like, all right, listen, hold on, guys. They're gonna hate this shit, but we're gonna rebuild it in
Dude, that's
10
Dave
years,
Filoni's
15
MO.
years, not
Why
10,
wouldn't
15
you
years.
make a good story within that world building?
They're
You're telling me
trying.
you're gonna run
You know
errands?
how hard that shit would be.
I
to
feel
do?
like this was good
Housewives?
storytelling. This was good
Okay.
storytelling. If you think the death of Depa and Caleb Doom running away, if you think that's shitty storytelling and how the clones turned on him
You
and
gotta
how his exact story of
pick one
Rebels that he
out of that
told
whole thing.
Ezra was visualized here, that's not great storytelling. That's not great connective tissue.
I think going back,
Wrong.
constantly asking Sid, "What are you gonna do for me today?" I always think about Monsters Inc. You remember Monsters Inc?
Always watching.
Rose. I'm watching you, Bad Batch. Oh,
Where are they supposed to go? Like they're on
Actually,
the
a
run
super
from
elaborate.
everybody. It's just like
It's actually,
Ahsoka. Where do you go? You go
They
to a
are
planet.
the most elite special forces. You can do whatever you want.
No, but where do
Right,
you
people.
go?
I don't know. Figure
The
something
Empire
out.
is everywhere. Empire's everywhere.
I can
Like,
agree there.
Where do you go? You go where bounty hunters go. You go to the bottom in the slum of the
Let's go find
universe.
a criminal and work for them.
I
That's
hope
what we
that Sid is revealed to
gotta
be Bosk the whole time, and it's just a super elaborate disguise.
You're probably right. That's what Disney's
Mission
going to do. They're like,
Impossible.
Bosk had a sex change, and
Bosk lives.
Yeah.
Didn't people think he was like the wife sitting next to the guy in the Boba Fett trailer with the
Yeah.
goofy ass eyes?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
guys, that's not Bosk.
Let
He
me
deserves
tell you
better.
how I go into these series, because it's something that I think a lot of people do this. I set my highest expectations for the films, even the side films like Rogue One, Solo, all that, the sequels, everything. I keep my expectations high for the films. The series, I go into it trying to just be like, well, okay, this one's animated, so I know there's going to be some silliness going on here, and I'll surely accept that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do want good storytelling, and Clone Wars proved that you can do both. Rebels then proved it even further. Now,
True.
Bad Batch, I didn't know what to expect because they took a side plot from Clone Wars that was only mentioned a couple of times and made a series out of it. So I was just kind of like, just throw at me whatever you're doing here, and I'll piece it together in my mind however this is going to fit. But that's why I was so hooked on that first episode. When you mentioned seeing Caleb Doom's master get killed by the clones when Order 66 happened, I nearly shit my pants. I was like, this is insane. Because I started thinking about Fallen Order and that whole sequence in that game. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. But
That's why I fell out of my chair.
oh my God.
We're trying to have a conversation over here. Focus.
I couldn't help it. I fell out of my chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, X-Wing.
Please continue.
Do you send me my voice parts yet?
You know what happened was in Bad Batch, for me, right after that pilot episode, or even after the second episode, it went down for me. But not in, I wouldn't say that's bad. I think it was like, now let's build this world up. This is what they're doing. They're on the run. Okay, we got Sid. They're getting missions. It was kind of video game style. But then we got to the climax of that series, not just the last two episodes. I'd say the build up to those last episodes, last 4 or 5 episodes. we start blending the eras. We're hearing musical tones. We're hearing these cues. We're seeing
Dude, when they started
stormtroopers.
showing the other troopers, I was like, okay,
Yes,
let's go. We're
dude,
getting some
that
fire.
was
Come on.
insane.
And
I
then
feel like this was
Mhm.
amazing. Amazing.
By the
story.
time that series ended, I was drooling for more.
Yeah, dude. Me
I want to
too.
say one thing about the campy kiddiness of it, dude.
I
Like
was
you were
going to
saying,
also.
after like the third, fourth, like after what's his name got domed, like
Mm.
there were a lot of headshots, and I stopped having the kids watch it because
Dude, there were a lot
young.
of close. There were a lot of close, like shots
Stab in
to
the
the
back,
chest,
too,
stabs
like,
in the back. Like
yeah.
there was a lot. I don't agree with
got-
this was made
got
for
it in.
kids. I feel
Mhm.
like this series in particular was more made for the adult Star Wars
Bro, exactly.
animated viewer
Crosshair,
because
like
Crosshair was a vile, ruthless
yeah.
dude. And then
Didn't
I
they
don't remember.
flame throw a bunch of
Dude, they
innocent
did.
people?
They flamed through
Like,
a
what
bunch
the
of people alive.
Like,
It,
yeah,
it was violent
not a kid show.
for a kid show. If that was a kid show, that was pretty
Yeah.
violent.
That
And,
first episode was brutal right off the bat.
Fact.
We had Order 66 happen.
and yeah, I mean, really, like for me to say this is
Mhm.
bad storytelling is again, I feel like that's not an accurate statement.
Yeah, where
right?
the hell
You
did I
got
fall
you got
off? Must
Order
have been all the
66
Sid.
from Jump Street. But again, I feel like if
Mhm.
the Martell sisters make an appearance, 90% of the Star Wars community is like, turn it off, click, because they hate
like
those
that.
characters so much from the season 7 of Clone Wars. But I feel, as I have before, those two characters are more important than people realize because they're how Rex and Wolf and Gregor end up off site. They're the connection to Rex and the rebels, right? Like those characters are who Ahsoka knew, the only people Ahsoka knew in the whole universe that she could trust 100% were the sisters. And so I feel like a lot of people got turned off on that episode. And then there were a couple of slower episodes as we see chips start to malfunction. But again, I feel like that's all amazing content because everybody always wondered, what if the chips don't work? Are there clones that it didn't work on? Did some of them get the order? Did some not? Like there's this grand story in the Clone Wars that people were asking about, and they literally took it out of the pile and spoon fed it to y'all. And people were still unhappy saying this is crap storytelling. And I just don't agree with that. They filled so many questions that had been looming. They showed us Order 66. They showed us the destruction of Camino. They showed us clone, like why the Bad Batch was so special because they were all the same as Omega, who was the first super clone or modified clone from Jango's DNA. Like there's so much stuff that they gave us. I don't see how this is bad storytelling, and I don't see how it was boring.
I was not entertained while watching it. That's why I considered it boring.
And I don't
tough.
blame
It
you
was
for that. I can actually see your point of view on that because there's a lot of that it's a different way. Oh, jeez. Are we going to see him come out of there? Jeez.
You want to talk about bad
Later.
content? Just look at that thing.
Wow.
Gosh.
Hawk, you want to slide
Terribly.
over here?
I would say like 99% of the problems that are occurring in Uganda are basically due to Nikki. So
Uganda.
yeah, it's rough, dude.
Wow.
I agree. Really didn't even know if Crosshair took his chip out or not through half of that shit. I was very confused.
Well, his was like, I don't want to talk about the Bad Batch. For God's sake.
Yeah, no, moving on.
All
moving
right,
on.
let's move forward.
We weren't talking about visions either. What the hell did we start with?
We
How did
were
we get
talking
here? What
about
happened?
shelved
Where am I?
projects in Star Wars.
The disappointment that they don't have all 10 shows done at one time ready for you guys. That's what we're talking about.
We were never promised 10 done at once.
How Momin is going to save Star Wars by connecting the Old Republic to the High Republic. It's going to be
Yes, do it.
chef's
Do it.
kiss.
I love it.
I am
Yes.
really looking forward to the future of Star Wars. It's going to be great. It's going to be so good.
Ah.
I don't know. I just I feel like you have to look at these things objectively sometimes. You got to put your pitchforks away. You have to look at what's going on and also realize too, because so many Star Wars fans are just like torches, pitchforks, get Kathleen Kennedy, put her head on a spike, and we're all going to feel better. And that's just not how shit works. And to be honest with you, as much as you may dream and pray for it, that would never happen in a major corporation. They're not going to do that.
Nope.
At the very
too much money.
Debatable.
She's made the board too much money. She made $4 billion in her tenure for Lucasfilm and Disney.
She rode the coattails of something that wasn't going to fail.
Doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. Again, we've been through this. It doesn't matter. She gets the credit because she was in the president's slot, and that's the end of it. And she's going to get her contract renewed probably tomorrow. And you guys hate it, but you know what? She's making the board money. And if those guys are making money, and if that stock continues to rise even $1 a month, she's keeping her job, boys. Unless that stock falls under $100, that's the only way they're going to even think about replacing her.
I feel like at this
that
point,
happened one time.
But even if she sticks around, how involved is she actually going to be with this side of things?
She's not going to be. Chapek is going to make sure she doesn't do anything.
I think they figured it out. I think she
can stick around and everything's going to be fine.
I think they figured it out. They're slowing it down. They're pushing it back. You guys have all been heard loud and clear. Now y'all can settle down and we can just have fun talking about Star Wars.
I like it fiery. I'm a demon. I like it in the hot coals.
Yo, we forget about a lot of players out there too, though, like Hera Syndulla and Jason Syndulla. Like there are Force sensitives out there, man. Like
want more of Jason.
There are a lot of players on the chessboard still getting ignored, but I think it's all going to culminate. It's going to be cool.
I think we're going to see Hera again for sure. I think if we don't get a moment of her in Ahsoka, we'll definitely see more of her in the second season of Bad Batch because they're 100% another great story and story building. They're going to give us Kanan and Hera meeting for the first time. They're going to show us that the building of that relationship, which is fantastic.
I wanted to touch on this comment real quick because I feel like this has been, a point of contention. I have a solution that's mutually beneficial. If you want to watch the Rey and her stories, you can. If you want to watch the Mandiverse, you can. I think my argument would be that Star Wars fans are so emotionally invested in their story, how they view Star Wars, the way they've grown up and know Star Wars the way it is. They wouldn't even they would torch and pitchfork the Rey side of Star Wars. And it fuels that divisiveness.
I think they're already building a story that is mutually beneficial for everybody. And I think it's going to be a very, very, very long time until we see Rey. But when we do, it's going to have more impact. I don't know. I just have hope, man.
Honestly, I think in possibly a few years, possibly 5, maybe more years, I think we're going to see baby Rey. I think we're going to see the handoff. I think that's totally possible in the grand scheme of things. I think you could absolutely see Palpatine's clone drop her off on Jakku.
That could be an interesting story, though, to get that side of it. Not have a series or whatever about Palpatine directly, but about his clone that went rogue.
Well, there were a couple. There wasn't just that one. I mean, there were failed clones, many. He's just the one that fornicated and procreated.
That shit's too vague. It's too vague. They should have explained it more.
But I'm saying, I think in the next iteration of what they're planning, if they do 10, 11, 12, then it opens the door for them to show us that in a background scene, not necessarily at the forefront, but like fake Obi-Wan in the Boba Fett trailer, maybe in the background we see the handoff of a young child looking Rey to a big pink I was gonna call him a doughboy, but a big
that dude.
whatever
Sometimes I feel like that they thought they were too smart, bro. They're just too smart about this shit. And they didn't dumb it down enough for, like, no offense, they didn't dumb it down enough for us. They should have explained.
What?
They should have explained way more of this stuff. Like, way better.
Yeah.
Make this shit 6 movies. Make it 6 movies, not 3.
Spread it out.
Well, and they learned their lesson, right? They've learned lessons.
I hope.
They've learned that.
That's
No,
the
no. I
key.
mean, they have. You've seen a shift in the story group,
Our plot,
right?
Yeah.
You've seen a shift in how things are made and what. Thank you, and what they're doing, and they know now that they can't do that stuff anymore because the fandom will call them on it, and they want to make toys and they want to make money and they want to be able to do more.
How's that selling?
And hey, you'll find out here soon enough because they're giving it to you. The next phase.
Encore Plot is doing great, bro. I saw a figure the other day. It was
Oh,
worth, like,
I wasn't talking about that potato head. You're starting to talk about toy sales. I'm talking about the future of Star Wars and how they have plans because there's a leader in charge that knows what they're doing. They're not going to put multiple directors on a trilogy. They're not making these mistakes that Pablo and the rest of the entourage made, and they've learned their lessons. And
you said the word.
And to
Bro, all these haters in the chat, but they're the first ones to drop the name no one else knows.
you know,
Uncard
So-
Plut. That's a deep cut, baby. It's a deep sequel cut. I don't know. It's kind of sus.
You know what I want to see? And I've wanted to see this for a long time, and I thought the sequels would have been it. But I want them to go either way back or way forward. Just get completely out of the way of the stories we know.
Isn't
and
that
tell
terrible?
some new stories.
But that's what they're doing with the Filoni verse right now. That's exactly what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
giving us this stuff right after, and they only brought back really one of your beloved legacy characters,
Mhm.
right? There's only one of your beloved. Oh, 2 Boba. There's 2 of your legacy characters in the new Filoni verse right now. So they're not treading on your stuff. They gave you your precious Messiah, Luke Skywalker, the way that you have to have him in his exact uniform and styles and all the shit you guys need, right? And they gave us amazing stuff to lead into these other stories. Oh, you don't like Luke Skywalker from the other stuff? They gave you guys that don't like that. The Luke
I
Skywalker.
haven't seen Luke Skywalker outside of Mandalorian. What are you
Exactly. That's my point, sir. You're making my point for me.
What?
Your Jake Skywalker talk.
The dude
That's
from the
not my Luke.
sequels?
That's not my Luke, right? That's
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 not
the
my
stuff
Luke.
I'm talking
Not
about.
Luke Skywalker. What are you
Exactly.
talking
That's what I'm
about?
talking about. Exactly. You're proving my point right now.
Oh God. It's important to remember, Darth Bayou, before you do this again, don't make the same mistake. Just making my contribution to making you a real YouTuber boomer. Also, Luke Ahsoka and Boba X Fennec or bust. Buy yourself a beer on me. I have something special for you that you need to remember. Something you have to know about this channel. Every single time you super chat this channel, we lose another youngling. Please stop the storm on the temple.
Thank you.
It's disgusting. She just won't stop. She won't stop until they're all gone.
Oh,
Dark
that
side
kid
Sith
didn't even see it
plots.
coming.
Tragedy. Please, she needs to be stopped. Just saying. Thank you so much, Darth Vader, for your contribution.
Thanks, bro.
You even got Graph Web. I don't think I've ever seen him write anything other than cancel Disney Plus.
I think it's
you're good.
He's been active
good.
today.
Yeah,
Honestly,
We
I'm
got
gonna
him
say it.
turned up.
I'm glad they shelved Rogue Squadron. 100%. We don't need to see that shit. There's no lightsabers in it.
Oh, that would be so
Put it on the
much
shelf.
fun.
Put it on the shelf. There's just X-wings.
But
There's
I
no
know it's not
lightsabers.
the most important side. It's
so
not Jedi stuff.
adorable.
Come on,
It's
man.
so adorable, like seeing you
Dude.
try to.
Hey,
And
there's
it's
more super chats.
It's the worst shot at trying to trigger me ever.
Dude, Top Gun in space.
No,
Yeah.
it's good that they shelved
Yeah.
it. If it wasn't there,
Thank you.
you gotta do it
Yeah.
twice, right? 'Cause there's another one right behind it.
Why does it sound like a bug zapper?
Uh-huh.
Kids!
I didn't know they threw little younglings in
Send
the
the children!
Thank you.
Why is there a
little
slapping?
snap gets me
Why is
every
there a
time.
slapping sound right in the middle of it? Why is there a like,
That
what
little
the heck is
snap
that?
gets me
I think
every
it's their
time.
blood boiling as the lightsaber like hits their
Yeah.
blood. I don't know.
I guess
snap
that was
their
weird.
I thought it was like when a mosquito hits a bug zapper and just that
I
little.
think it's Kathleen Kennedy like
Yeah.
surface.
Is she smacking that little kid? Is that what it is? Is she
Probably.
smacking that little
Yeah.
kid?
I don't know.
Oh man, because that's what it sounds like. Damn.
Oh, God.
Again.
Still going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your generous contribution to
X-Wing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy all the humble pie everybody's going to eat later.
Could
I
you
just
have been
hope it's
closer
not
to
in
your mic
10
when you
years,
recorded
bro.
that?
Bro, that was the best X-Wing ever. X-Wing. X-Wing.
I did what I could do. Okay. It's actually Dave. Yeah. Crazy enough. Hit him up on a text message. I'm like, hey,
Oh man.
not really though. It was not Dave Chappelle. I wish I was cool. Might get there someday. Oh my god. I will say, Graph Web, thank you so much for at least being there all the time. Even though you haven't said much. You said cancel Disney Plus for the past 8 months.
That consistency, man, that's dedication.
Love, man.
This.
KK's gonna be
This
making
would be
more
interesting.
stuff at the shareholders meeting. Is there a shareholder?
Is she saying like a promotion? Like she's gonna be the new Chapek, and Chapek's getting a little bump somewhere?
She ain't taking over Disney, bro.
No, I
Loser.
I don't know why else she would be speaking.
I think she's
honestly
probably
thought that was
going to
more
reveal the
Chapek.
KENOBI teaser or whatever it is, the footage or whatever they're going to show.
I think this is going to be
Back
different.
a board.
Someone else was getting confused between this day and Investor Day. I remember the last Investor Day they did a whole video presentation like DC Fandom, but I don't think this is going to be the same. It's going to be like throughout the day, different drops. So,
Jimmy brought up a good point too. He said you might actually wind up glad that they did shelf Rogue Squadron. So I heard rumors, I heard whispers that it was going to be an old Ray that was running Rogue Squadron.
That would be
That's
kind of
definitely
weird.
not what they were shooting.
It's definitely
No,
New Republic.
Well,
There's
it was a rumor. It was a rumor, but I'm like, that doesn't
I
make
did hear rumors of it
that
being in
makes
the sequel.
no sense to me.
No, but
Why would they do that?
Daisy hasn't been on the lot except for the one lunch she took with Kathleen in a while. So she's not. They're not sneaking
There
her.
are rumors of an old Ray too, though.
Yeah, but they're not. That's not for
probably
Rogue
not
Squadron.
connected.
Is my point.
No.
Like
Yeah,
that's this. I don't think in any of the current stuff on the slate involves Daisy at all.
When's the next shareholders meeting?
not sure.
I don't know.
Sure, you can find out. Google. It's worth a Google.
That was worth a Google. The legendary Tron is in here. Where is I
He
missed
is.
his?
He fights for the users.
Yo.
Yeah,
I need to make a little video for every time Tron shows up.
I don't think that they're going to do any. I mean, I don't think we're going to see the Luke rescue. From
It's
his Octu timeline through the world between worlds. It's not what they're going to do.
I
Wait, rescue the old Luke?
Rescue Luke before he becomes Octu monk Luke and blue milk drinking Luke.
Yeah.
I'm with Phil, dude. Like, if you don't have Luke or Wedge, it's not Rogue Squadron.
it's just the New Republic, whatever they called it.
Yeah.
What did they call them anyway? They weren't called Rogue Squadron.
No.
Again, I think they shelved it because the story they started editing and they're like, "Whoa, time out. Let's rewind and reassess what this is going to be." And maybe that's part of it. Maybe Mark Hamill comes in and plays a part. Maybe Wedge, maybe it becomes a different story. I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't think this is a true reflection of anything more than what they did with KENOBI. this isn't working. This isn't what we want from the story group. Let's go back and figure out what step we have to retake, whether that's reshoot the whole Megillah or whether that's go back to the cutting room floor and pick up the pieces and start again. Whatever the case, I just think it's a good move rather than releasing something that is excessively bad.
Yeah, I think at this point, here's my take on the whole thing of the direction it's going. I don't want a multiverse in Star Wars. I don't want time travel. When the World Between Worlds happened in Rebels, I love Rebels. I think the series is fantastic. That episode rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, what is happening here? Did you just bring time travel into Star Wars? And this is coming from a guy who my wife and I consider ourselves time travel whores. We'll watch anything with time travel, but it doesn't belong in Star Wars.
Somebody label themselves that.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're proud of it.
Not a lot of people understand time travel. That's part of the rules of time travel.
That's how you know you're a real whore.
People don't really understand the physics behind time travel and what it would and what it entails. And he's got to do his thing. Go ahead. Do your video.
Playing with the boys.
Thank you.
I thought he was going to do the other one, the happy one, but I guess
I thought you were all going to have your shirts off by the time that video was over.
You want to get banned from YouTube?
I didn't think I was going to get a Top Gun volleyball scene reference. Otherwise, I would have had that queued up, like play with the boys, and just like a spike. I would have been totally into it.
But
anyway,
it's time travel is tricky. You have to follow certain rules. If you're going to stick to a certain theory of time travel, you got to stick to it. You can't just change midway. It's like this is your point, right?
And I agree with you, and that's why I think Dave did it right.
Yeah,
right. Because
Star Wars is totally sticking to like a total formula. With
no, but time travel is different.
Matt, let's talk about it, Matt.
There's only there are rules to time travel that like for me, time cop is like the number one rule of time travel. If you're going to use a movie to define time travel, time cop is like number one first block in the chain. And the first basic rule of that is Ahsoka is when Dave killed Ahsoka and then brought her back in Rebels. That is the perfect. She did exactly what a person is supposed to do when they're out of time. You isolate yourself from the rest of the universe because your actions can mess up something else because you're not supposed to be there. So there's a huge there's rules, and I feel like Star Wars they danced on the line a little bit, but they got a lot of it right.
It's madness, bro. It's like the TVA in there.
Yeah.
And I was just seeing that, Dan the Man, you're right. It is a gateway to time travel and multiverse, which that's what rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, this is not a story that has time travel in it.
Yeah, I agree.
But here's the thing, and I was thinking about this the other night. I was like, I don't know if I want to see the World Between Worlds come back, but if we did, like, say, what if the World Between Worlds was the way that the Wills view everything and why they know everything? It's like their
I think that's the plane they exist on. They exist in the plane of the Force.
Well, I think they use that as a bridge. I think that's their bridge between time. I think that's what the World Between Worlds for them, for the Wills or entities like the Wills.
That's just their house. That's where they live.
Just chilling.
Yeah. But I also feel like that's where Force ghosts live, also on that exact plane of existence.
I was expecting to see a Force ghost in there.
I would, if I would have seen like an Obi-Wan Kenobi ghost just chilling on one of the other levels, like that would have been super weird. But I feel like their essence.
I don't like how empty it was.
I don't feel like
there wasn't enough rules for me for that shit to make sense. Now I feel like it's just use it.
I feel like the World Between Worlds is meant for the living, not the dead. So I feel like the Wills and the Force ghosts can use that World Between Worlds to jump in and out of time, but they don't think they can manifest there. right? Like they can use them to go in and out of, but to actually pull somebody out of time or to be physical essence in there, I think that's for the living. And I think that's why the portals
to destroy an entire timeline.
What's
Say
that?
like the sequel trilogy.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't
I'm out.
want them to utilize it that way. As look, X-Wing,
Anything's
that
possible.
No. That is not something I'm serious about. It's a joke, because if they actually did that, here's the thing. Like, yeah, if they did it and they did it in the right way, I'd be like, cool. It's never gonna happen.
But you know they would do it, and the only survivor would be the Palpatine.
Even if they did it in a way that makes sense, it still feels cheap, because it still cheapens the story, and it still brings you back to our real world. Because if they destroy the sequel trilogy with what they do with the World Between World, it brings it back to us as humans somehow, and I hate that.
But that's it. We're gonna lead to the sequels no matter what. It's the right thing to do at this point. And I there's many parts of that sentence that just came out of my cram hole that I don't like.
What did he say?
But I don't want. See, this is the thing about time travel. If you have a story that's about time travel, go nuts. If you suddenly throw time travel in, you've weakened your story, because now you can take cheap ways out of anything, literally anything. You can time travel your way out of anything. That's why I didn't want it in Star Wars. But if this World Between Worlds is dedicated to something more mystical, like the Wills or something like that, and Ezra getting in there was an anomaly,
I think it was.
Okay, cool. Like, I'm fine with that. That's
I think the Force made that happen because, and
Ahsoka
this is
needed-
crazy. This is crazy. I think all of the World Between World portals that you look through are moments in the Force's mind, in the Force's consideration of balance. So in that moment, the Force needed Ezra to save her, because she was gonna die, bro. Because Vader was gonna kill her, and then the balance, or vice versa.
I
the
think
balance in that
she was
fight
going
would
to
have been
kill
thrown
Vader.
off.
I
Either
really
way,
think when she stabbed her
the Force
sabers,
needed that fight to not happen.
I think when she stabbed her sabers into the ground, I think if she would have stayed, even getting stabbed, I think
because he's the chosen one, I think
it does more damage to him also in some other way. Whether her sabers, as she dies, fling into the obelisk and it falls on Vader, whatever it could be. I feel like that moment in time needed to happen.
It's crazy, because I think the Force didn't actually save Ahsoka. I think the Force saved Vader.
The Wills made it happen.
Wills. That's the thing.
Okay,
I wanted to come back to the Wills.
I need to, because you said your point, and then they all went, and I didn't get to do my. You said you can. Now that you've unlocked that door, you can do anything that you want to. Sure, yeah, you could bring back Jango. You could do whatever you want to do. You can do anything you want to. But just because you have nuclear power doesn't mean you have to nuke a country. Just because you have the ability to do something in storytelling doesn't mean that you have to do it.
Yeah. To quote Jeff Goldblum, we're talking about all the things we could. We never stopped to think if we should.
Yeah.
I'm saying you could do certain things that would benefit certain aspects of. I don't think nuking the sequel trilogy is going to fix anything.
No, it won't. It would make things worse.
A separate timeline doesn't mean that now you can. I feel like everybody thinks that if there was some other way where Ben and I shouldn't even say Ben, if Jason Solo exists, going to ruin Star Wars. I don't think so. There could just be two.
I think that sucks.
I
think that idea sucks.
That's where. But
so you would be happy with like two of the Solo kids, is what you're saying? If he just existed and was an older brother.
No, he wants heir to the Empire. That's what he wants. He wants heir to the Empire. That's exactly what he's saying. That he wants the sequel trilogies to be retconned into heir of the Empire. That's the
But
only.
how do
thing
you
that's gonna
retcon it?
How is it a retcon if it still exists?
It won't exist because then they'll cease to
How do
make
they
things in
both
that
exist
universe.
at the
That's what
same
I'm
time?
saying. You
I
can't
don't get it.
just
Okay,
change
all right,
something
all right.
that's in.
Obsession. You know what? No. I'm going to show you
How
something.
do they?
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something about everybody watching. I love you. There is such a thing as a universe splitter. I want you to show this right here. This is a law of physics, and it is well known that particles react differently if you observe them and you don't observe them. This is a law of physics.
Yes, I know. I believe.
And so there is literally a multiverse that exists in our own reality.
No,
you
the
say,
idea is
"No, it can't happen, it can't happen."
the idea is that every possibility creates an infinite number of universes. It's not
Right.
just one. So that's the problem
X-Wing,
with you.
How many
creating-
cats have you poisoned recently?
It's not you.
What the
It's
fuck?
That's the experiment. Is like what you're saying is that when you put poison inside a box with a cat, the cat is both
Schrodinger.
dead and alive. The
Schrodinger's
cat
cat.
is both dead and alive because both realities exist in the same.
Until you
That's
open the box,
what-
you don't know which it is. Yeah, it's called Schrodinger's
That's
cat.
what you're
Look it up.
saying.
Okay. No, I know Schrodinger's. That's
But-
not.
So how do both of your realities exist?
No, but even still,
Explain
you
it to
can't
me.
have
What I'm
just
talking
two.
about is that when you accelerate a particle through a particle accelerator, whether you observe it going horizontally or vertically, you're going to observe it in a certain way. It's either going to spin left or it's going to spin right, or it's going to spin up and it's going to spin down. And you can actually, because I love physics, you can actually create a universe split
Right.
on your
But
phone.
you can't have just two universes. That's my point. You can't have two definitive moments and only two. If you're
You
going to
can
create,
focus on
if
two.
you're going to create
lost.
multiverses, and if you're going to create the laws of multiverse in Star Wars, then every possibility is infinite. That's the
Or
thing.
you
You
can
can't.
just
that's what I
You
don't
can't
want.
just have two. That's the problem
You're
because
right.
every
You can't
other
just have
universe,
two, but you could focus on just two.
it sucks. If
So
you're going to
you
open
want
it,
you want a definitive
Yeah.
change, a
Yeah, they
fork in
do.
the road.
yes.
You want a fork in the road.
Mhm.
that
That's what they
just
want. They will
moves
not be
from
happy.
The end of
people
six
that
this
hate
way,
I
not
think
that way. That's
selfishly,
wild.
yeah, it would be fun.
You're
to
never
see
gonna
what
get that.
happen. I think it would be fun to see what happened on the other side. And you guys are like, no, fuck you. It
I just don't
happened.
think you're ever gonna,
This is
because
my
that
way.
is time
And I'm like,
travel, and
no,
nobody wants really
that's
time
called a
I
travel.
want to see
retcon.
my way.
It's called a retcon. You can call it. You can slice the pig however you want. Ham
That's
is
wild.
ham, right?
That's
Like
where we
it's
need
a
Star
retcon.
Wars What If. That's
Right,
where we
that's
need
it.
it to come in.
Matt Cave, give me some what
No,
if.
that sucks because that's Marvel. That's
No.
not Star Wars. That
But
sucks.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, do
He's
non-canon.
calling me negative, but he can't even do a what if. Like,
No.
shit, what if this happened? He's like,
You
that's
just
so
got what ifs that you
awful.
hate. You just got a whole series of what ifs that you hate already. So why would I give
Okay,
you an
one if, but
infinite
not
number?
anime.
What ifs then?
As
Wait,
long as it's not anime.
What ifs do I hate? Obsession.
You hate Toby. You hate a bunch of
I'm-
the what ifs they just gave you through Visions, because that is the what if story for Star Wars.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
Visions.
We always come
That's-
back to
that's not,
Visions.
that's not a
So
what if.
that's
not a-
How do
basically
we
a what
always
if
come
of
back
Star
to
Wars.
Visions?
You're right, Hawk.
No, that is a representation of what Japanese people
It must be
feel like
good.
they feel like Star Wars is. That's not a what if.
You can't have two only universes that are living side by side that you have a definitive moment where
You
one
could.
creates the other. Like
You
it's-
could.
that sucks. That's a horrible way to
But it
round
sucks to
out
you,
Star
not
Wars.
to me, but what if?
No, that's not Star Wars. Star Wars isn't a
It's-
what if
it's
platform.
not.
You just
That's the
take
thing.
all
What
your
is Star
EU
Wars?
retcons and be happy, okay?
Yeah, that's what they want. They want everything to be EU retcon so it matches their beloved
What
books.
does this have to do with the EU?
You know, they want all their books to be the right stuff. So this wasn't right because it wasn't Heir to the Empire. That's why this wasn't right, because it
This
wasn't the
actually
story that
has
they wanted.
almost nothing to do with Heir to the Empire.
You know, this wasn't the Talon story, whatever they wanted. It wasn't right, and so they want to retcon it. And let's do what ifs, and let's let the world between world fix it. It's not going to happen, dude. The sequel stuff we have now is
You
what
know.
they're building to.
We're the only one that's fucking like.
X-Wing, did you like the Trevorrow script with Tor Valum and it not being all Palpatine nonsense?
I mean, still not really. No.
Which one was
I
that?
just-
Yeah,
Is that
so
the Fear the
my
Faith?
point is like this shit's hard as hell, bro. Like, what did you want them to do?
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's
I think
so
I
many
wanted them to
possibilities of what they
create
could have done.
an original story, honestly. I think a lot of us who
Well,
who
they
do
tried to
love
do that with the
TV
High
stuff-
Republic, and everybody hates it.
Yeah, that's no.
Put it-
But see, okay.
Look, there's people who hate
Apparently,
Heir
I'm
to
going
the
to be
Empire.
on trial tonight, and I have to discuss why the rest of the fandom that feels the way that I feel feels the way they feel.
Thank you, Dan the man.
If that's what you want me to do,
No, not at all.
So this totally is. Oh wait, no, that wasn't Phil. Dan the man. I'm with Obsession. Visions is totally what if type of storytelling. I would agree 100%, but was what if done through a foreign perspective would be my question. Was what if done through
They
a
still love
Japanese
Star Wars.
perspective?
They're still Star Wars fans just because they're Japanese.
Not what
makes
I
them
asked you, dude. Focus
less-
No,
on
I agree with
No?
you, bro. I agree with you. It was from that perspective, hard to relate.
Okay, so it was done through a Japanese art style
Yeah.
perspective. So stop making that fucking perspective.
It's still a what if. It's not your what if. It's still a what if.
Okay.
It's a very
Just because
niche what if,
Japanese
it's not-
storytelling doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's still a what if story.
George Japanese?
Is
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
can't
I don't
really,
know his
like-
lineage.
You're using what if kind of vaguely. But I know I get
What
what you're
if
saying.
is
I
vague.
get what you're saying.
Yeah. No.
But in this instance, like Visions was not a vague what if
I'm
series.
just not
It was
gonna
a very
step down
niche
from this.
anime.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
It's not. This is a complete.
I know I'm wrong a lot until I'm right, and then I'm right. Because you can
Okay.
call me wrong till you're purple. I'm still going to be right in the end. I'm still going to hang your money on my wall. I'm still going to make you eat your words. Like, tell me I'm wrong, please. It just feeds my hate fire. I don't.
just
That's
did.
great,
I
baby. Do it. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me.
And Hawks told you were wrong too.
That's okay. I like it. But when you say
I
I'm
only
wrong,
drink
when
on
he-
this channel.
when he says
Yo,
I'm
I'm
wrong,
hyped for
it
this
makes me feel
bronze.
good. When you tell me I'm wrong,
So we were Hawks. We were on a good path there. We were moving towards a resolution for this. Continue, please.
What was I saying?
You lost your spot.
No, I was just saying, like, when they try to do new original stories, people shit all over it. Visions, shit all over it. High Republic, shit all over it. Like, that's the new original stories. Sorry.
So those are two
Sorry.
different aspects, is what I would argue. So Visions.
Bad Batch shit all
is-
over it.
Again, if there's a point where I can get my point out here, Visions was a perspective from somebody who doesn't, culturally,
agreed.
culturally from a standpoint, it's different. Does that make sense? Culturally,
Yes.
from a
High
standpoint,
Republic.
it's different. High Republic, a completely different cultural standpoint.
Not Cantobite.
Cantobite. High Republic, completely different cultural standpoint from, I would say, 90% of Star Wars fans.
But explain how. What do you mean?
Did you read it?
You're just gonna leave it at that? You're not gonna...
I'm just asking you, did you read them?
The High
I haven't
Republic?
read them
Yeah.
yet.
Yes.
I have
Yeah,
no
I got-
opinion on them
yeah.
in one way or another.
What were your thoughts?
My thoughts were this is a cool era of Star Wars, and the villains, like, we don't know a lot about them, but the shit I do know about them is dope. Like, even they're not force sensitive, and the Jedi fear them. You find out why. You find out what they're capable of. They introduced other villains, like those sentient plants that are full dark side shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff, man. And it's
love
unfortunate that it's all in comics. But I think that if this shit was revealed on the big screen, bro, are you kidding me? Imagine you're a Jedi Padawan and your master has already shown super ass sketchy sides of dark side, whatever tendencies. You go into deep space on this mission. The entire ship is shattered, destroyed to pieces. There's bodies floating in space. You enter it, you go on the ship, you're walking around. This is live action, right? It's all dark as shit. This poison starts filling the room. You're the Padawan. You've never experienced this in your life. You put your breather on. Everybody else in the room knows what it is. It's the Nile. They've done this shit thousands of times before. That's why everyone's dead. You walk into a room. There's a hut full of bullet holes, bro. Like, there are stories in this that people are missing. You're missing it. These comics are lit. There's scary shit in here. I'm obsessed with the comics, the main story comic line.
Okay.
You guys should be reading it. At the very least, find a breakdown that's not some asshole who doesn't like it. Like, there's people out here who like it. You should give it a fair shot, in my opinion.
And I made sure
that's just one aspect.
I never, the one thing I never did was like talk to other people who do love the High Republic. That's why I never had Santa on my stream.
Such a slow burn, but it's
that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
I'm fired up talking about
diligence to try to get in on this stuff, and I can't.
I got a question for you guys, and I'm really curious about this, because especially talking about High Republic, which I have not read yet, but now actually after listening to the Hawk, I really want to read that. Why did Knights of the Old Republic work?
KOTOR?
That's, I would say, almost universally loved by the Star Wars fandom. Would I be wrong in saying that?
The internet melted when they said they were just going to do a graphic update to it, basically. Yeah,
that's cool. I can get down behind that.
Not just being the game, but the story, the time frame it took place in, and what they introduced. KOTOR is the first time I was introduced to a forced dyad. It was also the first time I was introduced to battle meditation, which is insane.
I mean, it's basically what Doctor Strange does in his, like, when he's going through all the universes to find the right, which one's the one. That's basically battle meditation.
Yeah. But we learned about a dyad, right?
Yeah.
And then that came out in the sequels and people shit on it.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that's KOTOR.
Yeah.
That's a total KOTOR reference.
That's Bostel and Revan.
But why did it work in KOTOR, but as fans we didn't accept it universally? You know what I'm saying? Like, this has been done before.
Well, because people were so unhappy with their legacy characters, they were upset that this was Ben Solo and not, the other way they could have ran with it. There's a lot of other reasons that led to the dyad. For all we know, Pablo could have had the dyad on the brain from Jump Street, maybe from KOTOR, maybe inspired by KOTOR. But then they fumbled the ball with whatever. But KOTOR, that dyad worked because it was in a timeline that was outside of anything that they had ever touched, right? And it was in a place where you're not really messing with any legacy characters, not even Yoda, right? So that's why it was so easy to accept, because you had this. First, you introduced Revan as Revan, and then oh, you're a goddamn saint. And then you introduce battle meditation. You introduce this time where the Sith. For me, this is one of the reasons it's my favorite game. Is you get to go to a Sith Academy. You get to go see the Sith before Darth Bane, so to speak, right? Before the Rule of Two is really initiated. So you have these Sith alchemists and these Sith warriors and these Sith Jedi and Master Dark Jedi and stuff. That, to me, again, it's just another thing that a reason why it worked, because you gave us a timeline outside of the Rule of Two for the Sith, and you showed us a time where Jedi were, again, almost purged. Right. So it was a callback to the OT, because the Jedi were on the run and all but purged. And it wasn't touching any legacy characters, which is really where people get twisted up, and where they really start to get their feelings hurt is when they start even touching legacy characters. Right. And so that's kind of why I feel KOTOR was a well played card.
How connected were those two characters, Bastila and Revan?
Well, they weren't until they captured him and they wiped his mind, and she became basically his soothsayer or his guide. And then they discovered
connection, so they put them together.
Yeah, they discovered their connection because they kept having the same dreams about the star map. They kept, they went.
What is their connection? Like, how heavy did they hint at this though?
You're a dyad in the Force.
Well, they're
Well, that's what
basically
I'm saying.
they got romantic, and through the Force, they became a dyad. They weren't born a dyad.
But they don't
became a
say
dyad.
that word in the game or anything
No.
like that.
No,
Yeah.
it was just
So that's going to happen. That's
Yeah.
going
but
to be.
that's
in the
what we
new
were
game.
talking about while you guys were in the back restocking. Is
Yeah,
that
they
why
will.
is a dyad okay in KOTOR, but as soon as they bring it to Rise or the sequel trilogy, it's automatic.
As soon as they put a name on it,
right? As
Well,
soon as they put a
it was
name on it,
that, and it was also timeline wise. We're touching things we've
Legacy
already been
characters.
part of.
Yeah.
You made an excellent point there. That's
Yeah.
the thing is KOTOR worked because it didn't touch anything else.
Mhm.
But
Oh, you knew
now
that's
you have
gonna get gift.
the sequels, and now it's very much involved. And yes, I'm one of the people that's like, God damn it, that's not my Luke. And what the hell did you do? But I understand why it went that way. And if we're going to lead up to that, just give me good storytelling that fills in those gaps.
hey
And
Matt,
I'll enjoy the hell out of that stuff.
do you really understand how Luke got there, or do you have to
That's the
convince
thing.
yourself still? Because I, for a long time, had to convince myself. Now I'm there, bro. I'm with Luke 100%.
Thank you.
Best decision he could have made.
What?
It's treason then.
Cheers, bro.
You
I'm
need to
just
do that
curious
one. You
where
gotta get
Matt.
that one. You gotta get
I'm just
the
curious
it's
where
treason.
Matt lands on it. But yeah, he's.
Hold on, Matt's talking to
It
somebody
is
in the
treason.
background. Stand by.
The Senate.
It's treason then.
Doesn't care. I asked him his opinion. He doesn't care about my question. It's okay.
So
I'm
I
sorry.
said this in the pre-stream as we were driving along. There's a difference, I feel like, between Marvel fans and Star Wars fans, and you have to look at the two fandoms a little differently. When I say Star Wars is old, Marvel is way older than Star Wars is.
When
But
did
the
Stan start
emotional-
writing Marvel? When did Marvel's first
That was
Yeah, I'm not a Marvel guy.
A
I
long
don't know.
time ago.
while
was
they
like
were in
70
New York.
It was like
Yeah, it's-
77 or something like that, right? It was like super. Or aren't there some in
No,
the
but they
50s?
were-
Some original Marvels in the 50s and stuff?
No,
They
like
were a
way
small-
earlier than 77.
Yeah, they were a small little company in New York. That ended up the bigger place kind of stole Stan away. But
What I'm trying to say is, and this is, I was thinking about this. I was driving down the road, my service van today, thinking about, I want to go to this job, and I'm thinking about Star Wars, and I'm thinking about Marvel. And the thing I always think about is that I have always felt like Star Wars fans are intensely more emotionally connected to these stories than Marvel fans are.
yeah.
I just feel that way. Now I could be
What's the thing,
mistaken.
39? I think that's
Everything
DC.
is always subject to how a certain person feels about stuff. But I feel like on the whole, Star Wars fans are immensely emotionally connected to the story. Because the stories that we have are emotional stories. These are stories that are based on family, betrayal, love, hate. It's not always just going and resolving, a certain issue, and then the comic is over. These are intensely emotional stories.
It's smaller too.
It is. It's a lot smaller.
More contained.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to know
It's
our
definitely
family.
family oriented, like Nikki was saying earlier.
Yeah. And so when it comes to these things and when we feel like that's bastardized, it's like you're bastardizing my brother. This is how I know my family. I know that family because I've known that family my whole life. And I've spent my whole life knowing these people and who they are. And what you're doing is portraying them in a light that they would never be. They would never be that way. And that's what upset me about that. It reminds me a little bit of like Tony Hawk in SoCal. When he finally got signed up as a skater and all of his friends are like, dude, you ain't paying Tony like that. That's not who Tony is. Tony ain't like that. This is Tony Hawk. This is the homie from the day. It just reminds me of that. And I just know that what I saw in those movies is not how the Luke Skywalker that I grew up knowing would have ever acted.
Do you know a lot of veterans in your life?
Oh, a lot.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I've lost a few of them recently.
From several different wars, not just the one from our previous generation. Some World War IIs.
My boss growing
Korean.
up, when I used to deliver hay, he was in Vietnam, and he would stop in the middle of the road, and he said, "Hey, run up that hill." I said, "Why would I run up it?" He says, "I bet I can kill you before you get to the top."
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Run." And I said, "I don't want to run." And he goes, "Run." And then he'd pull out his gun and he'd point at me and he goes, "Okay, you can stop." And then I could get back in the truck.
So
You're dead now. Go
there's-
bury the
By the way,
body.
if you see this Mike Herod, you're a fucking piece of shit.
So most veterans deal with a bit of PTSD.
Yeah.
And PTSD is a tough thing to deal with. And a lot of veterans, unfortunately, go homeless because they don't feel like they fit in anywhere, right? They've got some damage some cuts that just won't heal, let's call it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Luke Skywalker is not above that. And what drives him to Octu, for me, is a is a life-changing event that needs time to heal. And those scars are not easy to fix. And so to run away is what you think he's doing. And that is not how I define what he is, why he is where he is. I feel like he needed to remove himself from a situation before he went mad.
Because you couple that with the power he has when he pulls that thing out, like he can't just be doing that all willy nilly.
Even that aside, right?
Like
even the lightsaber stuff aside, after watching that kind of horror,
I mean his connection.
Right. Oh, okay, yeah. So watching that stuff and waking up to find bloody children and all of his work destroyed, I could see those cuts either taking me to a dark path that I could never recover from, or removing myself from a situation entirely. Those are my two options at that point. And as somebody who has lived with people with serious PTSD that don't realize they have PTSD, and watching some people go mad because they don't understand what's going on, a wise man like Luke Skywalker understanding, I have two choices. I can turn to the dark side, or I can remove myself from the situation and figure out what I did wrong.
Do you think you would get post-traumatic stress disorder from confronting basically Hitler and like?
Yeah, I think he had PTSD after.
And then you fight him, and then he slices your hand off, and then says, "By the way, I'm the most evil man in the universe, and I'm your father."
Yeah, but here's the thing: when you're at war, you don't have time to realize you have PTSD. It takes the war ending.
So you're expecting
and
the
time
to basically absorb all of that and then put that into the sequel trilogy.
I'm saying that at some point you have to think about it from another point of view. And the other point of view is he didn't run away and remove himself because something bad happened. He killed many people in his day, including leading to the death of his own father. And he gets to a point where your actions led to the death of all of these children, and their bloody corpses are scattered amongst the flames. And the only living thing there is your trusty droid R2.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically crumble at the sight of this to wake up and say,
but what about the base, the action that led him to all of that happening?
I'm saying, regardless of how you get to the point, to your breaking point, whatever it is, your wife cheats on you, you kill your neighbor, whatever that breaking point that puts you at the crossroad, however you get to the crossroad, there is still a crossroad. And Luke made the decision, instead of going dark side and taking his revenge
about my relationships with people.
But instead of taking his revenge out on Kylo Ren and hunting down Kylo and killing him and going dark side, he chose the path more Jedi than the other path, which is removing myself from the equation and letting the next generation figure it out, which is exactly what Yoda did, which is exactly what Kenobi did. Why is it not okay for Luke Skywalker to make the same decision?
Okay,
I'll tell you why it's not
go into
okay.
that, but we have to do the thing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Santa, for your contribution. KK gets another soul. Good for you. Thank you so much. Good to have you, man. This is so late, I feel like, for you. But thank you for being here.
I was thinking that too.
Thank you so much for being here. So I did want to, because this is the thing about the sequel trilogy that I really like to dig into. It's what's Luke. Luke is like, he's in a bad spot. Obviously, he's isolated himself on an island. He has abandoned everything that he stood for in his entire existence since the day that he left Tatooine. And
removing yourself from an equation that's bad is not running away. I guess that's the part that bothers me is everybody's like, oh, he just ran away to Octu. No. He did exactly what Yoda did. He failed. And instead of trying to fix it and failing again, he into exile. I must go. Right.
Which is fine. That, and I get what you're saying there, right? But there's a piece of
why is it okay for Yoda to do that and not Luke? X-Wing? I'm curious.
But
no, Matt, please give
the
it thing.
For Yoda to do what?
Go into exile and not train Jedi and try to save the galaxy.
But you guys are looking at episode 8 isolated.
He fought against a power that he would lose to, and he knew that there would be another, and so he waited for something that
Darkness
he knew
rises.
was going to come. He knew that Luke would come. He knew what was going to happen. He knew that there was going to be balance. And instead of doing what
how did he know?
He went into exile, and when the balance came, he said, leave.
Well, how do you think he gained that knowledge?
Milk off of sea titties.
How do you think that Yoda gained that knowledge?
Wait. Yoda
hold on,
did not want to train him.
Yoda
did not want to train Luke. Go back that train up. Back that ass up. Yoda didn't want to train him. Too old he is. Too much like his father he is. Cannot train this boy. But as was I. So it took the reasoning of Ben Kenobi to bring Yoda over to train Luke.
Okay. No, I'm into that.
But why is it okay for Luke to reach a point that Rey pushes him into a corner and says, use the Force or I will kill you?
Get out of the Grand Master of the Jedi with a staff.
Use the Force or I will kill you. Simple as that. I'm forcing you into the corner. You refuse to use the Force. Use it or I will kill you, and I will take everything I need to take to try to win this fight.
Sounds like a modern feminist. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it sounds like.
Yeah.
She
like,
forced Luke,
do it, I'll kill you all, man.
She forced him back to the light. I'm sorry.
Future.
You can dislike the fact that she beat up a Grandmaster that wasn't using the Force, but the second Luke started using the Force, the fight was over.
Why you?
Because she got what she wanted.
He didn't even use the Force, dude.
He did. He protected himself from falling into the stairs.
Yeah,
he absolutely did.
He levitated.
He levitated and then let himself go. She forced him to use the Force and to come back to the light, and you hate her for it.
No,
I just like to believe myself that Luke.
Thank you.
That's my favorite. I'm gonna do that every time.
She got another soul. Thank you, Darth Bayou. Now she's fed for at least another 10 days.
Here's the thing, though, that everybody's missing, and all of the conversations about Luke in the sequels, that no one ever talks about this. And it's my biggest problem with the whole thing. Because everyone talks about this with Luke and isolates episode 8. And you just look at The Last Jedi like this. Watch Return of the Jedi. Watch Empire Strikes Back. Watch Return of the Jedi. Watch Force Awakens. Last Jedi comes out of nowhere because nothing builds to this version of Luke. If they would have built that up, I would have. I have nothing. I have no problem with Luke being a broken man. I think that's actually fascinating. The problem is Force Awakens did not set him up to be a broken man.
Well, but Force Awakens did not set him up to be anything because he was lost.
But
So,
that's
like,
the thing.
you
That's
don't
what
expect
Ryan
him
Johnson then threw away.
they expected him to be the same Jedi general that was left behind when he disappeared. That's not the man he was anymore. And that's what I'm saying is the expectations of the rebellion or of the New Republic was expecting him to come back and be the savior and the Messiah he was the first time against the Empire. That man was gone many years ago. And
but the other thing is that they already were putting in place.
Confused his obsession was in the high school bathroom in 1993. That's what I'm saying. He was confused. He didn't know what to feel.
But here's the other thing too. Listen, so we're always trying to fill in these gaps with extra material outside of what the movie gave us, right?
But they're
So I'll
going
give you
to
another
fill it.
example.
That's what Star Wars has to do, bro.
They're going to fill it. That's my point.
formula.
That's fine. That's definitely fine. And they did, but then they ignored it. So Battlefront 2 came out before Last Jedi. We got an entire level of Luke Skywalker searching around for artifacts. He even gets that.
Hey
compass
Ryan.
that we see.
Hey, yeah. JJ bailed, bro. He doesn't want to do this trilogy because everybody said that it was just an exact copy of the first film. What do you think about coming over here? Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. But I can't wait. I can't do they're off limits? What do you mean they're off limits? Like, isn't that where you're going with the story? Okay, I got an idea. And then no, they hate that idea and they just go back to Palpatine anyways.
Well,
Ryan Johnson's not the problem, guys.
He's not the problem.
And to go back to go back to what you're saying, Matt, is yes, I agree with that. Battlefront 2 came out and led Luke on a artifact hunt for Palpatine's treasured possessions. Yes, and some of those possessions are in his hut on Octu, right? And so that was before. Was that before or
Don't make
after?
me get the Funko.
Was that before or after the Knights of? Before or after the school?
That's before. That's the lead up to the school about to happen.
Okay, going and looking for.
Okay, great. No, I'm just trying to make sure we're all on the same timeline.
Yeah.
So he kills the Emperor. Everybody's.
What?
He goes on hunts for artifacts. He's looking for stuff. Maybe he comes and gets Grogu somewhere in that time, right? Because it's in that golden zone, right? And then he starts his school. And then that's what I'm saying. So all that stuff for Battlefront was before his school started, right? So that's before Ben Solo, right? So it fits. It still fits. The blocks still fit. If that Battlefront 2 stuff was after his school and like during the time of of the new Jedi Academy, then I could see there being holes in that plot. But really, you're just adding to my argument.
No, it does fit. It's just the way they pieced it together is weak. The problem is that we don't get that explanation until midway through Last Jedi after we've witnessed Luke throw away the most iconic lightsaber in the entire saga.
Right. And again, to him,
but even that is weak because you don't have a.
Again, I think you're going to get it. Again, I think all of the stuff everybody's upset about and the thing that X-Wing and Coach say is like, if they tie this stuff to the trilogies, I'm out. Right? That's exactly verbatim.
Can't be out. I'm stuck.
No out.
But hey, I'm just telling you what you and Coach have said. You and Coach have said, if they connect this to the sequels, I'm out of here. Right? So cool. But they're going to do it. I think we're going to get that moment or some tie into Luke and his Octu journey. I don't think he found that. He just picked a place on a map. He's like, oh, this looks off the beaten path. I'm going to go to Octu. I think he found that place first.
Ew.
Right?
What?
I'll tell you exactly
that place
what we
while
need.
he's looking for these relics. And that's where, because no one had been there, that's why he picks it.
What I'm trying to say is that the emotional connection is what was missing. We needed the school. We needed time with Luke with Padawans. We needed time with Luke with Ben.
I agree.
None of it is emotionally connected. And that's why it falls flat.
But I can read between the lines, and everybody else can too. Like that's the thing.
Yes, we
that
can.
Moment with
why
R2,
do we have to?
That moment with R2 for me was enough. looking over the dead, the children, his burning, everything, his new legacy burning. There's not a soul alive except for the droid standing next to him. That's dude.
But that was
what does it take to break a man? Like, it takes a lot less than that to break a man, let alone your Messiah, right?
That's
like,
it's okay for him to be a broken man. I'm fine with that. It's just we needed that emotional connection. We needed the story to be there.
We needed
if they eventually tell that, that's great.
I agree, but I'm saying
good movie.
I'm saying I don't feel like that needs to be told. I shouldn't have to be told, well, let me walk through the graves, let me walk over the bodies of the dead children, and let me, like, that stuff doesn't matter. Those kids were his pupils. Those kids
blows my mind that
I shouldn't have to watch 3 movies about why my old characters don't matter anymore.
It's not that they don't matter, dude. There's more. There's more.
That's how it felt.
Happened. That is exactly what happened.
You're
it's
expecting him to be bulletproof
the way he does. Well,
I'm blaster proof because of my lightsaber, but my emotions.
Him with R2D2 in front of a burning temple. That's your explanation. If you can't fill it in, then I guess you're not a Star Wars.
If you can't read between the lines, the fact that he killed everybody, if you can't see the connection there, then you should really watch it again without the blinders on, because that's an emotional ass scene. I don't know what planet you're on. Look over your dead kids.
Luke is feeling
you guys
really
are gonna hate the comic
about how Han.
Your
died. Really
parents entrusted their kids to you.
The fucking movie.
Your sister trusted her kid to you. Many others trusted their kids to you, and they're laying across the floor, bloody and dead. And there's dozens of them. And your star pupil is the one that cut all their throats. But no, you're not. You're supposed to just, you know what? Fuck those kids. Let's go fight.
I didn't
right?
see that anywhere, and that's the thing.
Lame.
I didn't see any of that. I didn't see that anywhere, and I didn't even see a scene where Luke was upset that Han was killed by.
That was they had that deleted.
His responsibility.
Yeah. But look, wait. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the comics change the canon and Snoke killed everyone? Wasn't there some kind
implied
of
that it was
that did that?
They implied that it could have been the Voice or Palpatine. Yeah, but there's literally a force storm that forms above the temple, and lightning ignites it and burns it. It's in the Rise of Kylo Ren.
Thank you.
Listen, Yoda is super sus. I agree.
My
Never
biggest
liked
thing
him.
about it is that the original trilogy told a story that didn't need anything extra with it. The prequels then told another story that didn't need extra with it. You can watch it by itself. The entire sequel trilogy requires research. I don't want that in a movie. I want a trilogy to tell me the story. A complete story that goes and makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know whose genius idea it was. They're like, all right, we haven't had a Star Wars story in like however 25 million. What do we want to do? Let's skip ahead.
Let's
skip ahead 30 years.
Let's do that.
Stupid fuck. Why would you not tell the day? Like, if I was to do this, dude, it would be day one. It'd be day one after we just stopped the story. I would pick up right there. I don't know this time jump, but foolish. Foolish.
Like, yeah, okay,
right. Jedi Academy did that.
I feel like the video game Fallen Order
material.
tried to do that.
Yeah.
I liked the Fallen Order storyline a lot. How it picked up right there.
Where's it going to go from there? So he got rid of the holocron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fallen Order. It's done.
Yeah, they're done searching for the
He's gonna
younglings.
die soon. I feel like he's got to die in the next one. Right?
Yeah.
Greenlight 2? Is that actually is that being produced?
You know it's coming, dude.
Yeah, sure.
You know it's coming. That game made so much money. The funny
But
part
was that game made before or after the Lucas gaming announcement? Because LucasArts is now
that's still considered an not Activision. Is it Activision?
EA.
EA. That's
so
right.
they may not do a sequel.
No, they are. That's going to be the release on the way out.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
basically already been established.
That was green.
They were like, nobody
That's cool.
wants a single player Star Wars game, and then they release one game, and it's like the most popular game.
God.
Well,
It's like right behind Call of Duty. You're like, oh,
well,
okay.
they absolutely are. That's why it probably hasn't been released, because once they lost their contract, they're like, cool, we'll show this on the way out,
Mm.
you know, and then call it
You're
a day.
gonna miss me.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Damn, that was
Coach
spicy.
on Switch tomorrow.
Fun. What are you at? 1 hour and 45 minutes. I feel like that was a good go.
Yeah. I mean, look, I got nothing but love for all you guys, and
Hell yeah, dude.
I think this is
Sure.
this is one of the first time I think Obsession, you and I have really butted heads on a topic, but
Oh, Obsession and I are like, we're like pros at this point.
And then there are no hurting. Like I said, there's no hurting feelings here.
No hurty
No,
feelings here.
dude,
We need to talk
I'm
about
still-
time travel in the world between worlds a little bit more, because
We
I
need
don't
to
get
talk
that.
about Time Cop is what we
Move
need
on
to
the
do.
next
Dude, we
one.
need to watch Time Cop.
I'm down. Let's watch it.
I got it right behind me.
That'd be a good watch.
Everybody watch Time Cop. That explains time travel very well.
There you go.
Thanks for being around. There were like 40 people in here at one point. It's a good Wednesday. Good Wednesday. Enjoy it. If you haven't already, we've got 30 people in here right now. Please go and subscribe to Hawks Holocrons, the Mac Cave, and the Star Wars Obsession. I have to warn you right off the bat now, this is something I got alerted to just a minute ago. The links that are down in the description are dead. So please just search the Mac Cave, Hawks Holocrons, and the Star Wars Obsession. Go ahead and give them a follow, give them a love. These guys, they are the Boomer
funny.
Council.
That's funny.
So, yeah. Anything you guys want to say?
Hashtag Ryan Johnson did nothing wrong.
Oh,
Ryan's on-
Johnson is a
Ryan's on his way back.
Oh my
roundhead
God.
suckball. Piece of shit.
Give him that trilogy.
Stay booming, yeah.
Yeah, man.
May the force be with you